we come into the presence of love. And we come to celebrate that love. And we come to share and to embrace and to touch each other's souls with the divine oneness. For you and I were called by name. We were called by a loving God, not to embrace dogma and fear and control like the Pharisees and Sadducees, but to come as a beloved, as a child of God, and to allow the Supreme touch our lives and fill our lives with a blessing, with a beautiful blessing, a blessing that is a prayer for our life. So let us, if we have our candles handy, let us light our candle, but let us light it for peace in our hearts, in our families, communities, in our home, in our beautiful world, a world that has lost sight of the sacred and the beauty of God. So let us be still as we embrace the love of God. We light a light for global peace and interspiritual unity. In the name of our beloved Father, Mother, God Supreme, who creates life. In the name of the cosmic Christ, who loves life. In the name of the Spirit, who is the fire of life. In the name of Gaia, who is the Earth's mother that nurtures the creation of all life. In the name of all faith traditions, who are the sons and daughters of God, for they are our brothers and sisters. We celebrate our spiritual diversity as we gather around this table of love. Let us be still and let us allow the Spirit of God touch us.
Holy Spirit, Lord of life, from the clear celestial height, like your beaming radiance here, come thou Father of the poor, come with treasures to endure.
Veni Sancte Spiritus. Come, Holy Spirit of God. Come, Spirit of truth. You know our hearts, for you are part of the creation of our being. Come, speak to us through this live stream transmission, that we come with an open heart, for you to fill us with the love of God, and that the words that are used are not my words, but your words, so that your name is glorified, because your name is holy. Veni Sancte Spiritus. Come, Holy Spirit. Touch my brothers and sisters who have gathered around this table of love, and let us be touched by that love. As we relax now, let us just be mindful of the presence of the Spirit of God, the fire of life, the fire of our soul. Let us come. Let us take our rightful place in the presence of God. And now let us relax, to give ourselves permission to be still in the presence of love. For God is love. Be still now. Allow your heart relax and receive the kiss of God. We are approaching an important time in the spiritual life of every Christian as we prepare for Holy Week, at the weekend coming, when we begin with Palm Sunday, a time of preparing ourselves to embrace the mystical paths of the Beloved, where He prepares us to release, to let go, and to become the breath of God. And part of that celebration, I thought, for the coming few nights would be to read from an amazing lady's book. It's called A Journey into God by Delia Smith. Yes, the Delia Smith, the famous all-time favorite British cook and TV presenter. She's an extremely spiritual lady who has run retreats here in the UK. And I would like to read from this very old book that we have had here for a number of years. In fact, it was a gift to Brother Rob, signed by Delia Smith in 1996. And here we're looking at setting out. It was by faith that Abraham obeyed the call to set out for the country that was the inheritance given to him and all his descendants, and that he set out without knowing where he was going. By faith he arrived as a foreigner in the promised land, and lived there as if in a strange country. And that's taken from Hebrews 11 verses 8 to 9. And I would like to read to you Delia's take on setting out. Although the sonorous Victorian language of some of our great hymns is not the vogue nowadays, there are some significant truths expressed in them. I have never much cared for John Henry Newman's Lead Kindly Light, finding the encircling gloom a somewhat morbid concept. However, there is one line in which I do feel makes a profound statement about prayer. I do not ask to see the distant scene, one step enough for me. We might express it today as taking each day as it comes, or perhaps a younger person might call it just playing it by ear. What I want to say at the outset is that faith is definitely not a leap in the dark, and should never be described as such, for that trivializes it into little more than a fantasy. Faith is not a blind venture, nor should we think of it as entailing a sacrifice of understanding. On the contrary, excuse me, faith sets out with a hidden kind of pre-understanding in the hope that more specific understanding will be given. True faith always questions, always searches out, and most importantly of all, always desires, a desire of the heart for God. It is here that prayer begins with faith that is essentially the conscious desire of a person for understanding of what and who God is. The journey is one of searching, reflecting, and being receptive, so that the inward reflection begins to penetrate outward. Authentic prayer is rooted in the ordinary experience of daily life, which begins gradually to take on a new freshness. It is hard to improve on the simplicity of the Bible, which describes the spiritual journey as a gradual awakening from sleep, or a healing of blind eyes and deaf ears. There occurs at a deep level more and more sight, more and more hearing, more and more understanding. And all this happens in our experience of daily life. Yet there is an obstacle to this desire for understanding. It seems to me that we live in an age where people, for the most part, have lost touch with this sense of the spiritual. There was a time when God was for people a palpable reality, while the world was shrouded in mystery. Now the opposite has happened. In our tremendous search for knowledge about the world and the universe, God has somehow been eclipsed. It has indeed been an exciting era of human development, and our microscopes and telescopes and satellites in space would appear to have given us most answers to most questions. With the aid of the computer technology, we can chart our progression from the first Big Bang through billions of years of random molecular activity to our culmination as a human race. In our age of scientific enlightenment, the human race seems to have grown greater and God has grown smaller. We have lost our sense of mystery, or at best are uncomfortable when confronted with it. It is a tragic loss, and I sense it has somehow diminished us as human beings. Take human relationships. Why do love affairs grow cold? Why does the chase so often prove more fascinating than the conquest? Surely because when we have full knowledge, when we can confidently package and label our experiences, it has become plain boring. How interesting. I recently heard a top fashion buyer talking about her work, how difficult and dangerous it was to determine so far ahead something as volatile as fashion. Choose a colour that doesn't take off for the wrong hemline, and a whole season's profits are lost. But it was precisely, she admitted, this element of mystery that stimulated her. God is wild, wrote an American priest. He cannot be tamed or tied down. God is always, will be, mystery, and faith is essentially taking a chance on mystery. Without seeing the distant scene, we set out. Like Abraham, we don't know where we are going. We are invited to journey into a strange and unfamiliar country, to learn, to understand, to claim our inheritance, which is a gradual unfolding of that peace and harmony which is our safest and truest home. And Goethe says this: it is not always necessary that truth should find a tangible embodiment. Enough if it hovers as a spiritual essence and induces harmony by its vibrations, like the bell toll of solemn serenity. Let us, after those words, just reflect on what it is to step out in faith, to embrace the mystery, and to accept that our God is wild, cannot be tamed. But can God tame their children, where many are wild and many refuse to be tamed by the love of God? Let us come to this table. Let us relax now. And let us just visualize the presence of God around us. Let us embrace the peace, that beautiful peace. Let us be aware of the arms of God around us, holding us, like a father would their son or daughter when they're feeling somewhat anxious or fretful. They come and put their arms on you and reassure you. And so it is with the Father, Mother God. They come to us in moments of prayer, often when we are at our lowest, often when the most difficult nightmares present themselves to us, where there are numerous challenges and we find ourselves helpless. We find the situation hopeless. We find ourselves becoming more and more vulnerable, fearful, and unable to cope with life's hurts. But let us sense the love of the Father, Mother's, God's arms around our shoulders, holding us. Let us stay with that thought, that we are being held in the arms of the Beloved. And that we are sensing the presence of God, the love of God, the peace of God. And as you breathe in now, you feel a strength coming upon you. And in your out-breath, you are allowed to release indecision, fear, sadness. And with every in-breath you breathe, we sense the love, the tenderness, and the compassion of a loving God. Be still now. And allow the power of God set you free. Allow the love that God has for you and me encapsulate our greatest worries and bless each one of them. And now sense the freedom that we are a child of God, that we are truly loved, that our needs are taken care of, that our needs are met. If we but surrender and let go everything to God, then God can play with us. God can assure us, God can convince us that we are a beloved if we're willing to trust. It's about embracing our wildness of heart. It's about allowing our heart receive tangible love. Let us sense it now. Let us sense the peace of God. Just sit quietly and in the silence embrace the peace of God. Embrace the stillness of God. Embrace the love of God. Embrace the wildness of God. Embrace all that you are as a beloved child of God. Just relax now and sense the peace of God. Veni Sancte Spiritu. Come, Holy Spirit of God. Fill us, your child, with life anew, that we might love what thou dost love and do what thou wouldst do. O breathe on me, breath of God. And before we finish, before we play our last chosen track by the Spirit of God, I would like to hold this beautiful candle in reverence to the divine in you. For as a child of God, you are a temple of the Holy Spirit, and within your being lives and breathes and moves the I Am Presence. The blessings of heaven, the blessings of earth, the blessings of sea and sky be on all those whom we love this day and night, and on every human family. The gift of heaven, the gift of earth, the gift of sea and sky, the gifts of brother sun and sister moon be in your hearts, now and forevermore. Amen. And now I would like to dedicate this final piece of music for this session, again by a great, great man, whose music I've been familiar with since the early 1970s, when he was a young tertiary Franciscan, and he really touches my soul, and I know he touches yours. But I would like to play this for you. So just bear with me now. Be not afraid.
You shall cross the barren desert, but you shall not die of thirst. You shall wander far and safely, though you do not know the way. You shall seek your words in foreign lands, and all will understand. Yes, you shall see the face of God and live. Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and all
pax et bonum. Om Shanti. Solo di Caritas. Peace. Good night, good morning. God bless you. Thank you for joining me. And may the wildness of your God set alight the fire of divine love in your heart. Till we meet again, same time, tomorrow evening. Be strong, take care, and never lose trust.